What's up guys, it's your boy Kurt, coach of the Brisbane Buzzwell, bringing you week 2 of the UNPL season 2. This week we go up against ItzDannymac. So I got a bit more time this time, so going over my team, I have a Iron Defense, Carmine, Mystical Fire, Enamorus. I have a Scarf Landorus, Modest with Earth Power, U-Turn, Terra Blast, and Sludge Bomb with Terra Flying. I'm Terra Fire on Enamorus, Terra Water, Hisumi and Gudra with Earthquake, Fire Blast, Dragon Pulse, Body Press. Enough defense that when I Terra Water, I don't die to a Ursaluna Guts, Ursaluna Earthquake. I think I also live Facade. Just again, a Swords Dancing Zarud Data, trying to get some damage off the Zarud. I don't know how. I don't know if that's the best play to bring with Zarud, but I've been trying. Just a defensive Torch Song, Shadow Ball, Slack Off with Terra Fairies, Terra Blast, Skeledirge. And then we have the new addition, Quackleval, with Adamant, Swords Dance, Close Combat, Terra Blast, and Aqua Step, Terra Electric. So here, I'm just going to leave Landorus against his Iron Treads because I felt that was a pretty safe lead. I'm just going to U-turn because he was a booster energy. I was fearing any potential sashes, but he could also set up rocks. So I wanted him to either set up rocks or break the sash. I didn't want Landorus dying to a random Ice Spinner. I'm thinking about going Zarud here, but I ended up going into the Gudra, I'm pretty sure, because I felt like I can take one Earthquake if he decides to fire that off the next turn, and my Fire Blast is going to do a huge chunk. So going into Gudra, my play here was always to click, and there's the Ice Spinner from, so I knew the Ice Spinner was coming. It was a pretty obvious switch, but there was no reason to play overly safe turn 1. Oh well, overly aggressive turn 1, sorry. So Gudra taking about 20%. That's a decent chunk considering I'm a relatively defensive Gudra. So going Fire Blast here. That was always my play, bringing this thing in, was to Fire Blast or Earthquake. I opted with Fire Blast in case he goes into the Megaena because I had a feeling that he might be Spadef Megaena, but I wanted to scout with the Fire Blast damage. So we get a really good chunk of damage off on the Donphan, on the Iron Tread, sorry. And I'm just going to go back into Landorus. It's a very obvious play to go back into the Landorus, but I felt like it was my only safe play was to go back into Landorus. I thought about going into the Duck, I really did, but my only play is to go to Landorus. It's very obvious. He could have Ice Spinned here, but there was also no reason for him not to just Earthquake when the Gudra is such a fat mon to be sitting in front of his team. So he does go for the Earthquake. So again, yeah, I'm just going to go straight for the Earth Power. I thought about Sludge Bombing on a switch because I felt like Tornadus was pretty obvious, but I had to go for the Earth Power. I was having to play pretty straightforward here. I just couldn't take the risks. That Ursaluna in the back absolutely terrifies me, especially if he brings Trick Room or even just some way of speed controlling with Tailwind on this Tornadus. That scared me. So I'm just gonna hard switch back into Gudra here. I have a lot of natural Spadef. I also resist its stabs, so my best play was to go Gudra. If he wanted to click Superpower, then he got the GUI. So either way, he was then slower than my Quackleval, and I could come in and click Terra Electric Swords Dance. But he does go for the Substitute, which I didn't know what he was doing with the Substitute. I was a little bit worried. This scared me the moment he clicked Sub. So I just go for Dragon Pulse. He could hard switch into Megaena, but I don't think he wants to waste the Sub that way. As he just goes for Air Slash, doing absolutely nothing to Gudra. Gudra is so fat. So we Dragon Pulse, always breaking the Sub. So we break the Taunt Sub. And then I feel like he goes Megaena here. That's my thought process, is that I've just revealed Dragon Pulse. That's what I'm clicking against Tornadus, so he could clearly go Magana. But he does sub. And I miss my Fire Blast, so he gets a free sub again. If I just Dragon Pulse there and not over predicted, maybe I could have, but I needed to play safe and catch the potential Magana switching in. I was worried indeed about the Magana coming in because it can do a lot of things, especially if it's like a shift gear Magana with Aura Sphere or something, or Terra Fighting like that. That's terrifying. Magana is terrifying in general. So we're just in a sort of stalemate here where he's just subbing on me. I can't do anything to him. I'm sitting here again. I just clicked Dragon Pulse again because I was worried that he would indeed go into Magana, but I couldn't take that risk. So we Dragon Pulse as he goes into Semirot. Hisuian Semirot. This thing is a monster, an actual monster.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
So we just Dragon Pulse there, doing about 30%, which reveals to me that he is Assault Vested Semirot, based on the calcs. Because if he was not Assault Vested, he should have taken about half from that Dragon Pulse. So I'm doing calcs, and I should do about 50-60%. If he clicks Sacred Sword, then I still live from this range. I'm pretty... If not, it's a very high roll. So I just wanted to get the chip damage off on this thing. I'm just letting Gudra take the chip, but he misses the Ceaseless Edge, which is unfortunate, and then we crit the body press, which I feel horrible for. I hate winning on hacks. That's Mons. Sucks. It changed the entire flow of the battle, him missing that move as I crit. You know, like that... He definitely didn't deserve to get crit there. So Gudra picking up its first kill of the match, as he does indeed go into the Magana. I'm just going to go for the Earthquake because I feel like if he's hard switching into this, he is Spadef Magana. There is no doubt in my mind that he is Spadef Magana. Which this reveals he is max HP, and he does go for the Trick Room, which this makes me extremely scared of Ursaluna. I am terrified of the Ursaluna now. It's just sitting in the back, just waiting to pick up kills. So I'm running calcs. I'm worried if he's Spadef. I'm worried if he's Fizdef. I was thinking he might just Volt Switch into the Ursaluna, but he goes for Fluid Cannon, gets the Spadef drop, and this is a really cool set. He's eject packing the Magana out to bring in the Ursaluna under Trick Room, which is really, really cool. Props to Danny for that set. That was really cool. I was impressed seeing that. So we just go for the Fire Blast as he does go into the Ursaluna. It's now a burned Ursaluna in Trick Room, and I don't have a switch into this. I can try and play around his attacks. I can try and play around the Trick Room turns. But I'm not sure, because if he goes for Facade here, predicting me to Terra to get away from the Steel weakness, then I die to Facade from this range anyway. And if I go Landorus on the Facade, then on the Earthquake, and then he Facades the next turn, and I go into Skeledirge, predicting that, but he predicts me. As you see, I'm sitting here thinking, so I have to let this thing go. I don't have a choice. I just don't want to over-predict and him click a move. I think my best play is to just go for the Dragon Pulse and try and get some damage, but he is min speed, goes for the Earthquake, picks off the Gudra, and now I'm in a situation of I don't know what I need to do. So I'm tempted to go into Skeledirge. He does have his rocks up, which means that it's risky if I go Skeledirge. Facade can still kill me if I Terra Fairy. It's a roll to kill. Since I am a Spadef Skeledirge this week, Spadef so that I could check the Magiana, I could check Espathra, stuff like that. As well as beat Lilligant, if it decided to bring any special coverage for me. So I got a Skeledirge here anyway. I'm debating. I'm hoping that he overpredicts the Facade, the Earthquake, that I'm going to Terra and he's gonna Facade. That's all I've got going for me, is that I hope that he overpredicts that. But you know, we got to take our chances. Got to go for what we can. So I'm just gonna click Torch Song because I'm really hoping that I can get some chip damage off on this thing. I was really hoping that I could just at least hit this thing once, even if my Skeledirge goes down the next turn. I've gotten a good chunk of damage, which means that my Quaquaval can come in and practically finish off the game if I bring Quaquaval in. So that was my idea, clicking Torch Song here. Is he? But he just goes for the Shadow Claw. So he brought a really nice tech on this as well to beat the. Well, he brought a nice coverage move at least to beat the Skeledirge, which, again, props to Danny. So this Ursaluna's already picked off 2 Mons. I don't have an answer to it. I can't switch around the facades because things just start dying. So I have to sack a Pokemon. I was looking at a screenshot of his team, what the best option is. My best option is to sack the Zarude. It doesn't check anything that's left. It loses to everything that is left as well, other than the Houndstone, but at that point, I'm not too worried about a Houndstone, because Last Respects is banned, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to click Trailblaze and hope that he misclicks, I guess, is all I had going for me. I thought about bringing Protect on this thing to try and stall turns, but that doesn't matter because I didn't get it. I didn't bring it, so unfortunately I brought the Swords Dancing Life Orb set. I did have another idea to bring a more defensive Zarude. So Zarude goes down. So that's 3 Mons down to this Ursaluna. It's at about 60% health. So from here, I know that if he doesn't Terra into Terra Normal or Terra Ghost, then my Quaquaval's Aqua Step kills from here. So I go into Quaquaval. And my play is to just click Aqua Step. I have no reason to try and predict the Terra Normal or the Close Combat. I was just covering in case he decided to switch to try and get the Trick Room back up. That was something that I was looking at. If he saved this to go to Trick Room, it was a problem. He does indeed Terra Ghost, which is unfortunate. There's not much I could do there. I was thinking about terroring with my Quaquaval, but I would still die anyway because I don't have a defensive Terra to beat that. So we do about 30%, which isn't bad, all things considered. As he just goes for the facade, gets the kill. I'm now down to just 2 Pokemon. So I just bring out Landorus here. I don't want to go into my Enamorus because I'm not set up with my Enamorus. My Enamorus was intended to beat this if I could get set up before the Ursaluna come in. But unfortunately I was not set up before Ursaluna come in. So there's nothing I could do there. My play is to just Earth Power here. He could easily go into, say, the Tornadus. But I was honestly hoping that he sacked this thing. That was all I had going for me, is that if he sacks this thing, I can potentially win late game. Because then he doesn't get the Trick Room back up, he doesn't have this thing to just kill my last 2 Pokemon inside Trick Room. But he does save it, which is unfortunate, as he brings in the Houndstone. Now this Pokemon, this scared me a little bit. Didn't know what to expect out of this thing. We get the Spadef drop, that's nice, but he brings up the red card and forces me out into my Enamorus. which I didn't want this thing in because I didn't know if this thing was going to be an offensive Houndstone. So I was a little bit worried, a little bit unsure of what he was going to do with this thing. So my play is just to straight up click Iron Defense. I know this is sort of a lame endgame to just Iron Defense on his Pokemon, but this was my win con from the start, other than the Swords Dancing Quarkerville. I wanted to bring something that I don't think I'll get another chance to bring, is Iron Defense, Calm Mind, and Enamorus. There's no other matchup this does well. Denny's made changes after this game, so there's no way that this set can come back and do well. So that is unfortunate. So he just revealed that he is Destiny Bond, which is terrifying. Because I don't want to attack this thing now. I'm scared of what it can do. I don't know how much it's going to do with any sort of attack. I don't know if it's got Ice Fang. I don't know what it's got. All I've seen is one move. So I just click another Iron Defense. I want to play it safe. I don't want to risk anything. So we get the Iron Defense. So we're now +4 as he reveals Nightshade. So this is more of a support Houndstone. So if he had have sacked the Ursaluna, then I wouldn't be able to get into this situation to get this boost. Because I wouldn't have been red carded. He would have gone into the Tornadus and then tried to use the sub setups. He misses the Will-O-Wisp, so he's had no luck with hitting his inaccurate moves, other than Air Slash, which is unfortunate. Willow would have negated my Leftovers recovery, which was just insult to injury at this point. So I'm going to Terra Fire so he can't Willow me again, and click another Calm Mind. I just needed the +2 so that I could kill the Spadef Magiana. I was worried about Spadef Magiana because my Earthquake did so much. It gave me the feeling of Spadef Magiana. So I was just playing around a potential specially defensive Magiana since I had seen nothing other than Trick Room and Fluid Cannon on that Mon. So we got another Calm Mind up just to guarantee the kills. As he's just gonna click, I think he just clicks Destiny Bond again. Yeah, he clicks Destiny Bond. So I can't attack in this turn, otherwise I would have killed him right here and not gone for another setup turn. But I didn't want to sack this thing because then I don't win with Landorus in the back. That was my problem, is that I needed this thing to even have a chance at winning. If I sacked this thing right here, I lost on the spot to Ursaluna in the back. Plus the Magiana, plus the Tornado. I couldn't lock in safely with my Landorus is the problem. I couldn't Earth Power, I couldn't Sludge Bomb, I couldn't Terra Blast anything. I was just locked in. So we're just going to Calm Mind again on the Destiny Bond turn. Nothing that he can do about that. He's just going to Nightshade again here. So we're just going to now just start going on the offensive. Now that he hasn't got that, I can kill with Draining Kiss or Mystical Fire at any point. So I'm just going to click Draining Kiss, try and get some of my health back from these Nightshades. Because I don't want to play around a crit. I'm trying to play out of a crit range from the Tornadus or the Magiana if he so chooses. Because I don't know if he was an offensive, I don't know what kind of Magiana he was. But then he reveals he is like a Spadef Magiana based on that Draining Kiss damage from a +3 stab Enamorus. So I'm just going to go for the Mystical Fire. He is full Spadef. Oh, well, mostly Spadef anyway. So I have no reason not to just Mystical Fire here. Now knowing that he is slower than my Enamorus. If I had a Calm Minded there, I think I might have just lost on the spot. Just purely because I don't have enough health to take the Ursaluna. I don't have enough to take the Ursaluna Facade from that range, even at +4. That thing is an absolute monster. Thing is terrifying. So here we just kind of sit with Enamorus now. Nothing on his team can really break this. It kind of just does what Enamorus does and exists. It was a really nice Enamorus set this week, honestly. I really, really enjoyed this Enamorus. I feel, yeah, it was a little bit lame, but I was playing to my win cons. I was playing around crits. I was playing, basically, I was just trying to play around the Trick Room in Ursaluna, because that thing is just an absolute monster. I was genuinely terrified of it. I almost led with this Enamorus to click Iron Defense, but I had a feeling that Iron Treads would be his lead. I just had one of those feelings that, you know something's not right. You know that he's going to lead something that counters what you want to lead to run your set. So we're just gonna start spamming Draining Kisses here. I have no reason not to just click Draining Kiss multiple times. He's not getting any HP back, so I don't know what his item is on this thing. I don't know what he was doing as he air slashes and does about 15 to 20%. Decent chunk, all things considered, as he gets the flinch. So he goes for another air slash and gets yet another flinch, doing another about 10 to 15%. Putting me close to 60%. As he's just going to go for Substitute again here. I'm just going to click Draining Kiss. I have no reason not to. Well, I think he's just playing for information here at this point. So we're just going to click Draining Kiss, break your Substitute, get a chunk of HP back, and kill this Tornadus. Because, yeah, so from here, Enamorus pretty well just sweeps. There's nothing more to be said about that. Enamorus just kind of sweeps the rest of Danny's team. They're all weak from taking hits. So Enamorus kind of just cleans up from here. As he goes for the +1 air slash because of the Patea Berry, which was another really cool set. If he had have got that off before I was set up, I think this Tornadus would have absolutely run me over. So that was a really cool set again. Some really cool sets from Danny's side. The Trick Room Eject Pack, the Sub Patea Berry, the support Houndstone, which he's brought in here. I'm just going to click Draining Kiss, as Danny is just going to focus the battle, and Enamorus was just going to sweep him from there. Just saves us both a bit of time. So GG to Danny, and I will definitely see him in playoffs later on in the season. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in week 3 when I take on Misery and the Naruhata Hoppers.